Same thing applies to Russia, of course, because Russia wants to come back to the Middle East, and it had to withdraw or perhaps bring down its visibility in the Middle East since the dismemberment of the Soviet Union. Then, now that Russia has achieved its control in the near abroad, it wants to go back to the Middle East, and the country that it could use as the best stepping stone in the Middle East is Syria, because of its relations from the time of the Soviet Union. And Syria is in dire need of the support of a country like Russia. So Russia wouldn't like to miss this opportunity, and will give most probably utmost support to the present Syrian regime to maintain, to continue. Of course, this brings us to the question of what type of solution should Turkey and the United States be looking for Syria. Military intervention, if there is no international legitimacy, it will be a breach of the international rules. International legitimacy means Security Council decision. Security Council resolution means that Russia should not use its veto. Under the present circumstances, I cannot figure out how Russia will give up this idea of preventing any resolution which will allow outside military action in Syria. Therefore, one version, a corollary or another version of the Annan plan, 6-point plan, it may not be 6-point plan, but another version of it that international community will accept will have to be used as a solution for Syria. And there, when you look at it, Annan plan, when you clear from the details, was aiming at a negotiated settlement rather than a military solution. Negotiated settlement, what does it mean? Is it a negotiation between fraction in the opposition? It is not. It was a negotiation with the regime. So it presumes that the regime will have to be made part of the solution, not part of the problem. If this is the only exit, then, of course, Turkey and the United States will have to cooperate to act with the international community. Is it finished? Okay. In this case, I will say a few words regarding Turkey's relations with the European Union. Distinguished representative of the EU mentioned the problems. One thing that is perhaps interesting, that important, the Council suspended the negotiations or blocked the opening of the 8 chapters in negotiations with Turkey, tying it to the opening of the Turkish harbors and Turkish airport to the Greek Cypriot ships and aircraft. Turkey, upon this, said something, yes, I will do it. It is my commitment stemming from Ankara Agreement, but the European Union has also a commitment. What is this commitment? In the year 2004, when the Greek Cypriots voted against Annan plan, the Council held a meeting and to punish the Greek Cypriots, adopted a decision to extend economic aid to the Turkish Cypriot and to enter into direct trade with the Turkish Cypriots. This is on the 24th of April 2004. 5 days later, the Greek Cypriots joined the European Union and blocked the implementation of this decision. Whereas a country which joins the European Union has the obligation to adopt all the acquis which was accumulated by that time without any discussion. So this decision to enter into direct trade with the Turkish Cypriot was a decision binding a newcomer, which was the Greek Cypriots. So Turkey said that I will open the harbors and the airports to the Greek Cypriots, but at the same time that you implement your own decision. And this proposal is valid, is on the table since the beginning of the year 2006, and we are waiting whether the European Union will one day see this offer. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Minister. Let me take the moderator's prerogative to ask the first question, and then we will open up to questions. We will be, just for you all to know, we will have until 3:20 instead of 3:15 on the schedule. They've given us an extra 5 minutes. I would like to ask each of you the same question. If you had a golden bullet of advice, that is, you could give a bit of advice that would be followed to either the EU or to Turkey or to the United States. As you look at Turkish relations with the US and Europe, what would you consider to be the most important piece of advice you could give that, if it were implemented, would make progress on this overall subject that we've been discussing? And let's go in reverse order from the original presentations. Mr. Minister, if you would go first.
Shall I go again there?
If you like.
In the European Union, of course, the present circumstances does not allow to revive, despite this positive agenda which is being implemented nowadays. I don't see that the accession process will change in nature soon in the days to come, because European Union has its own problem, and perhaps it is better for Turkey to put more order to its interior. When I was chairing the European Union Commission in the Turkish Parliament for the last 8 years, I always said that Turkey should put aside all what Angela Merkel says today or Sarkozy said yesterday, and should try to use the accession process in order to put more order to its interior, to make Turkey a first-class democracy, to make Turkey a country where fundamental rights and freedom are enjoyed better, to make Turkey a country with more transparent market economy, lesser corruption. And when Turkey achieves all these things, perhaps it will not be that much important whether it joins the European Union or not. We are still there. And Turkey is performing very well in the economic field, and some portion of the Turkish public opinion believes that rather than pushing in the membership today, let's leave it to later days where Turkey's bargaining position will be stronger. In the future, Turkey will be in a better position. Today, it may be forced to make certain concessions. In the future, it will not. In the Turkish EU-US relations, I think that we talked with you before the meeting. There is a volatility in the public opinion dimension of the relations rather than in the official level. It is more or less, there are zigzags, but more or less at a certain level, depending upon the circumstances in the region and in the national landscape. So if we can add to the present relations, not the political one, not the military one, because they have their own dynamics. But the economic relations and the relations at the public opinion level, people-to-people democracy, people-to-people relations, then we may perhaps achieve a more stable set of relations between the two countries. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Master Wilson?
I have two silver bullets, but hopefully they'll be briefer. One, I think, is for the United States to continue to give sustained and high-level, constant attention to U.S.-Turkish relations and to dialogue with Turkish leaders on important issues. It is a big change that's taken place in the last couple of years. Got to sustain that, and the model needs to look more like the nature of U.S. consultations with the UK, with France, with Germany, with Japan, with other major allies that we deal with on quite a regular basis. For Turkey and the EU, I think they both need to work hard to enrich this foreign policy dialogue that our colleague referred to earlier. The accession process needs to go forward. Hopefully it will at some point. But if that's all that there is, it won't work. And U.S. or Turkish and EU relations and interests, I think, will suffer as a result. So both sides need to work harder to enrich this foreign policy dialogue outside the accession process and make that work.
Mr. Pearson?
Thank you. Mine would be really process focused, and that is to say that what's often missing is what I would call active listening to the other side. Often in these dialogues, I see people quite anxious to clarify what it is they want and they think. And I actually believe that a little more commitment to active listening and a willingness to act on what you hear would be an excellent prescription for all of the parties involved. Thank you.
Mr. Political Counselor?
Thank you very much. Well, I think I will join most of the comments already said. I think perhaps what's important now is to set aside populism and work on improving perceptions. And that means working concretely on achievements that we can have. I would, of course, have my mind fundamentally on the EU-Turkish relationship there. We have a lot of work ahead of us to transform what the situation concretely is and also to change perceptions. And I believe, and pardon me there, perhaps I will contradict you, Minister, that as a matter of fact, Turkey getting a lot readier and having transformed a lot itself will become a lot more attractive for the EU itself.
Thank you.